AP, okay, we're waiting for the fog to lift and also to see what the winds are doing and the line of storms that are supposed to come through this afternoon.
Okay.
If it's on time, we may have time for a race, but if it's coming earlier, we're going to just scrap it.
Okay. What kind of velocity do we have out there?
We're in our sailing area, there's about 11 to 13.
Great.
It's gusting a little higher, but that's a sustain, no higher than 13.
Okay, good. So it'd be an excellent day if we could get rid of the storm.
Yes, and if we can get rid of the fog.
Beautiful. Thank you.
Okay. In the airport, we're still talking about 12, 13, you know. Oh,
That stupid guy, that stupid guy with that camera. Okay, Carol, give us a recap.
No, we went out and it was only blowing 12 to 13 and we got the thumbs up from Greg. And I didn't think anyone was having too much difficulty. Those that felt they were turned around and went back in after they came halfway out. And we began the race a few minutes after proposed time because we had a few stragglers, but we didn't wait for every single one of them. And the first rounding was lovely. It was still blowing 12, 13, maybe gusting to 14 at the very max. And then about halfway up the windward leg, it jumped to 4 or 5 knots. And we were seeing 15s, 16s, and gusting to 18s. Huh. And that's what we came in on. As we started to come in, however, it did pipe up. We saw an occasional 20.
Huh, okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay, it felt like a whole lot more than that.
Well, it felt like it was blowing 40.
Yeah.
Those waves.
Yes,
yeah.
because the waves were getting steeper and shorter between. You know?
Yeah. How many capsizes did you count that stuff? Or
I
several?
only had 10 fingers. No, I think there were about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 maybe.
Oh, not too bad.
Yeah.
Not too
Would you say that was about right?
That's what I heard.
Yeah. Most were fine. There was only one boat that got waterlogged and his bailer broke. So he had to be towed in, but everybody else made it in under their own steam.
Great, excellent. Well, phenomenal races. I think you did. You know, from the Thistle class's point of view, you guys again did phenomenal job.
Well, thank you, Craig.
Yeah.
It was a pleasure. It always is.
Excellent. Okay, we're here with Greg Griffin, the winner of Friday's race, and Greg, fill us in. Give us a recap of the race.
Yeah, we were worried about this frontal line pushing down because there's a lot of nasty stuff in it. So we knew we had a narrow window to get the race in. So they determined once the fog lifted a little bit and the visibility got better that the wind was only about 10 to 12 once you got away from this shoreline right here. It was kind of funneling along here, so it seemed like it was really blowing hard in the boat harbor. But once we got out there, it wasn't too bad. It built a little bit right before we got started and then came back down. So when we got started, it was probably about 10 to 12 again. And so, you know, our goal was to stay away from the right, figuring we were in close and the tide would be running along the right, that channel. And we wanted to start near the pin because it's usually got about a 5-degree pin favor and people were holding back from the line nicely. So we were about a third of the way up from the pin. Most of the fleet was to our right, but we were able to get a good start and work up. Maybe we sailed for 3 minutes on starboard tack until we could cross just about everybody, and then we started getting a little bit uncomfortable to the left, and then took a hitch back in. We got pinged out one time by one boat. We went over and hipped up on a couple boats that we had ducked, and then we just we hiked really hard and were able to actually end up getting over those boats. And so we came in. At that point, we set a long port tack, and we're I think third around the weather mark. And then downwind we had good wheels upwind, and we had better wheels downwind, and we were able to sail to the front downwind, and then just play it real conservative upwind. Sailed back up, just kind of managing the fleet, trying not to get too far either side. And it was one of those days where the waves were huge, they were short and steep, and you really had to have good communication. Our forward crew was talking to us a lot about when we could tighten in the main a little bit and steer up a little bit more in a flat spot, and he'd also warn us when we had a big set of waves coming in, and we really worked hard to keep the boat on its feet and moving the whole time, and we were able to extend downwind. Once we got around the weather mark, we got in sync on the waves, and just I think we doubled our lead downwind. So
wow.
It was just one of those things. We were in sync with the waves, and there were a lot of waves out there today, and the teamwork was incredible. I can't say enough about the communication and the skills of the guys I had with me. Dave DeCamp and Mark Redaway were just absolutely on their game today, and it really showed because they pushed us to the front.
Wow, great. And how fun was it downwind?
It was exhilarating. We were sitting on the back grating, at least I was, and just watching the waves and riding them. We'd get some of those big ones, and you'd run into the next one. We'd get all the crew weight back and start plowing over that one. We actually were able to pass some waves, so it was blowing pretty hard in those puffs that we were able to do that in.
Did you jibe several times?
Yeah, we jibed a few times. We wanted to be really conservative. We were in a position we were covering two boats because we couldn't really catch the boats that were ahead of us. We had a 23-point gap between us and Paul, and Robbie was 24 points. So we knew we really couldn't catch them unless they were in bad shape at the weather mark. We evaluated our situation. When we got to the weather mark, decided we need to be conservative. At the same time, once we got rolling downwind, I think the adrenaline took over, and we were pretty aggressive with the waves, and we were sailing deeper than a lot of folks. But when you catch those waves, all of a sudden the boat will just dive down and you can ride with it, and it felt safe to me. My forward Dave was saying though we were
on
pushing
the edge.
it. Yeah. So,
well, congratulations.
Thanks a lot,
Great
Greg.
sailing this week.
It was fun.
Yeah. With Greg Fisher, the winner of 2007. Oh, Jeff. Jeff. Okay, we'll see Jeff in about a minute. So, congratulations, Greg, on a fantastic week of sailing. So, tell me about today. What happened today?
Well, it started out as a real beautiful day of sailing. It's probably 15 to 18. Not real shifty, not real wavy. It's just really nice. And as the race wore on, they did a nice job in making it a short windward leeward course. And as the race wore on, it got windier and windier, and by the end, somebody said it was blowing almost 25. And there were some capsizes, some carnage on that last leg especially. And by the time we all got down to the last gate, and there's a really short beat to the finish, it was getting a little hairy, I gotta say. And we were working real hard to be very careful, because we were in good enough shape at that time that we knew we just kind of had to not make any big boo-boos to hang on, which is what we did.
All right, good. Tell me about your crew. Who'd you sail with this week?
Well, I had my wife Joanne, who's always a lot of fun to sail with, and we love sailing together, so that was neat. And then Jeff Iber, and I think Jeff and I sailed our first Thistle Midwinters together in probably 1981 or 82. So we barely get each other around the course anymore. We're like a couple of little old ladies, but we have a lot of fun sailing together, and we're looking forward to doing more of it. And actually, Jeff and Joanne and I sail together a lot, and we have a great time doing it. So it was really fun.
Great
we
night.
Feel very fortunate and had a great week.
Fantastic. Now, you were first place. Who was second place?
Paul Abdullah was second, and Robbie Brown was third.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah, so it was fun.
Great. Well, congratulations on a great week.
Oh, thanks. And it was a beautiful week. Next time, everybody's got to come down. It's a fun time, fun thing. The Coach TCA deal is always a lot of fun. The weather was great. Parties are good. So can't miss it next year.